today's presentation and theme is the 5 ways to increase business with your CRM. And Jill Walker is a guest speaker for today. And regardless of your industry, successful customer relationship management tools can improve your profit. This morning, we'll hear the 5 ways to increase business profit with CRM. So please welcome Jill Walker.
Well, thank you, Adrian. So I'd like to welcome everybody to this session. And I think I need to preface it by saying, from the questions that you raised in that quick runaround that we did, if I were to even attempt to answer all of those, we wouldn't be out by midnight. So I am only going to scratch very much the surface of CRM, but I am very, very happy to have a further chat with any of you. And when we get to the end of this, you will see how you can do that. The particular piece that I am looking at is 5 ways that you can increase your business profit with CRM and taking your profit to that next level. But before we do that, I want to define profit. So what is profit? What is it to you personally and in your professional role? And I'd like people to put the answer to that question into the chat. So please add into the chat what you think profit is in a business sense. And I'll give you about a minute to do that. If you would like to, please do. Yes, just pick and choose.
Okay. There's Cassandra, revenue less expenses after dividends.
So that's a very monetary definition, which is fine.
Okay. Michael.
Do we have any non-monetary ones?
So I've
one. What is left after expenses are paid and shows your profit is, shows your business is growing? Marianne? The majority are financial.
Okay. So that is what I would expect. But the beauty of CRM is, while for sure it can help your business get more profit, so all of those things that you have given us, but it can do a lot more than that. So if you are in a customer service environment, for example, the advantage or benefit that might be relevant to you would be potentially getting either more cases solved or more cases in less time. If you're in a not-for-profit environment, it may be getting more volunteers to support the organization or being able to run more events. If you're in a more marketing focus, the profit might be getting more campaigns happening or more effective campaigns. So there are lots and lots of ways that CRM can help you achieve that profit other than the pure dollar. And I think it's very important to remember that. I'm surprised how often I hear from people things like, I'm in the medical environment, therefore I don't need a CRM, or I'm in a not-for-profit, therefore we can't have a CRM, and lots of other similar type comments that are very, very untrue. So what I'm now looking at is those 5 ways, regardless of your line of business, 5 ways that you can increase the profit of your business. And those 5 are, you can get more leads. You can get more conversions from those leads, more sales from those customers, bigger sales from those customers, and more profit from each of those sales. So there we've got they are the only 5 ways, regardless of what your profit is, they are the only 5 ways that you can get more profit into a business. I'm now going to take you through all of those 5, and we'll talk about them to a degree. And I will show you and illustrate how Microsoft Dynamics 365, which is one of about 400 CRM technologies, how it might look if you achieve that. So first of all, we need to look at leads and a whole range of metrics we could measure. How many active leads do you have at any given time? But what is perhaps more important is, how do you know where to invest your effort to get more leads? Where do your leads come from? And what I'd like people to do now is to put in the chat where your leads come from. And again, I'll give you a minute to think about that.
Mary, in. Wendy, repeat business, existing customers. Cassandra, GPs and specialists. Nina, Google Ads and returning customers.
Awesome. So thank you for that. If we were to analyze those in detail, I think you would find that most people get their leads from some variation on these 6. But the $6 million question is, if you are getting leads from some variation on these 6 sources, which of them are the most effective? So where are the majority of your leads coming from? And once you know that, you can invest more of your effort into those lead sources that are providing the good quality leads, and less effort into the ones that are providing poor quality leads. CRM can also help you increase the number of those people coming to your website who share contact details with you using marketing automation. So this aspect of marketing automation is where you have a lead magnet of some description, and you only let people have it when they pay you, but not pay you in money, pay you with an email address. And obviously that email address can then go onto a marketing list, and we can maintain contact and stay top of mind with those people. Now, that's only one thing that marketing automation can do. And there's a lot of other things that CRM also can do. If you were using Microsoft Dynamics 365 and also a number of other CRM technologies, you would likely be able to get to a chart similar to this one. So this one is showing quite simply the proportion of leads from each of those 6 lead sources. Obviously, the lead sources would be configured to match whatever makes sense to you. You may choose to keep them relatively broad as they are here, or you may want to break them down even more. So to give an example that someone else mentioned earlier, you might want to know, rather than just referrals, maybe it's more relevant to know how many are coming from GPs versus other medical professionals. That would be a very easy thing to split out, assuming you capture the information. Again, from dynamics, you may choose, rather than just having the chart, to have it looking like this. So I've got that same chart, but then next to it, I have got the list of leads. Now, if any of you are concerned that I'm talking out of school and giving away lots of personal information that I shouldn't be doing, please rest assured that all of the data that I am using in this presentation is completely fictitious. I spent a chunk of the weekend working it out and pulling it into a version of Dynamics, which is also purely a sample. So I've been able to leave this data where you can read it, but it really is not, it's not real data. So that's one very simple page that may well be of use to you in Dynamics. Dynamics also gives us a lot of dashboards. And this slide gives you a dashboard based on that same data, where we've got lead by rating, lead by source again, and a couple of other charts. I've also got put in the bottom left-hand corner one that's related to users and which of our users, i.e. staff members, are doing the most reach out and contact. So that chart in the bottom left-hand corner is showing the contacted versus new, i.e. not yet contacted leads by employee. So obviously that is beneficial to a lot of people. So now moving on, once we're getting our leads, what we now need to do is to make more of those leads go all the way through our funnel and become paying customers. In other words, we need to convert them from prospects to leads to clients or customers. And the key to that is follow-up. And there are many, many ways that any decent CRM tool can help with follow-up. Making contact within an hour of a lead coming in is 7 times more likely to get results than following up later. It's actually 60 times more likely to get results than if you wait a day before reaching out. Now, obviously, that is a generalization, and it's a survey done across a wide range of businesses. But while the 60 times may not be relevant to you and the business that you're in, I can guarantee that a rapid follow-up will be more effective than leave it to languish and follow up sometime later. One of the things that supports this is, I'm sure all of you, when you are interested in a purchase, be that a product or a service, the chances are you do your research and you look at multiple companies. Let's say you approach 5 companies for whatever product or service you are interested in. It stands to reason that the person who reaches out and has a conversation with you about your issues and the challenges that you've got, the reason that you were on their website or downloaded the lead magnet or whatever you did maybe sent an email is more interested in your business than the person that allows it to sit in some inbox for however long. If you've got CRM set up and properly configured, the incoming leads can be allocated to the appropriate person in real time. So that helps you with that rapid follow-up. A true CRM solution can also create and schedule follow-up tasks for each salesperson, and/or it can send them emails or SMSs notifying a staff member of a new lead. So things that improve conversion, we've got a number of them, but the first is speed of follow-up. The second is having automated and consistent sales follow-up processes. So that's where you have a process in your business where you know categorically that those leads are not falling through the cracks, and everyone is being reached out to in an appropriate way by an appropriately knowledgeable or qualified or whatever makes sense person. We also need to be able to give them comprehensive information. In other words, the person who does the follow-up should be able to answer that person's questions. We don't want somebody just phoning up and saying, "Hi, I'm Mary, I work for this company." And then while they'd never say that, the implication being, "I know next to nothing about it, but if you'd like me to, I'll make you an appointment with the CEO." That is rarely what a lead wants. There also should be easy communication between the prospect and the organization. And again, CRM makes that possible because all of the interactions can be recorded and tracked. So when we're making a subsequent call, we know everything or all the important stuff that has gone on previously with those earlier calls, even if we're not the person who made all of those earlier calls. One of the things that CRM does, if it's set up correctly, is it takes the I out of team, or it takes the I away and creates a true team, because that information is shared with everybody, but not everybody, it's everybody who needs it. So we only get the information that is relevant to our role. A true CRM solution can also have automated sales follow-up templates. So an email can go out, maybe immediately, maybe with some time delay, but based on the information that the lead has given you, that template can be selected. And therefore, even though it's a templated communication, it is specific to that lead's inquiry. And of course, it can be personalized. So I am sure you've all received the "Dear Valued Customer" or "Dear Lead" type emails. And I know I personally think the last thing I feel on receiving that sort of email is valued. What CRM will also give you is a better and stronger qualification process. If you know by looking at previous leads that the leads from this industry or this person type or avatar are more likely to convert, the CRM can collect that data. So you put the effort into there, and that gives you or helps to give you a stronger qualification process. The final piece, that analysis and reporting piece, should also be part of any CRM solution. What we've got here is that chart again that shows us the follow-up data. And it's that same chart that I flagged earlier, where by staff member, we can see how many of their leads have been contacted and how many haven't been contacted. And based on that, who is doing the better job. So that's another example of what that might look like in Dynamics. I mentioned earlier lead magnets. This is an example of a lead magnet. It is a form on our website, and you fill in a relatively small amount of information. All that we're requiring is first name and a business email. And then off the back of that, you will receive that ebook, 5 Fundamentals of a Foolproof CRM Implementation Strategy. That is part of campaign automation. And what campaign automation does is automates the communication between those early stage leads. So those leads who are unlikely to buy from you in the next 90 days. And not surprisingly to many people, that is approximately 95% of the people who wander onto your website, maybe download a lead magnet, they may phone in, but 95% of inbound leads that are sitting at the top of the funnel will not buy from you in the next 90 days. So campaign automation gives you a way of staying in touch with those people with relatively low effort. And an example of campaign automation is this slide here. So this is specifically to engage prospects. And what we've got is a series of activities that once somebody has been put into this campaign, the rest of that just happens. No user input whatsoever. This particular example comes from Click Dimensions, which works exclusively with Dynamics. But one of the things that you can see on this slide, you notice how some of those orange dots have got both a green line and a red line. What that is if somebody takes the particular action, they follow the green line and then get that series of emails sent to them. If they don't take whatever the trigger in that orange box is, they go down a different path and get a different set of emails. Those actions sitting inside the blue boxes could be email, be phone calls, they could be SMSs, any way there is of reaching out to people. And obviously what that is doing is keeping your organization top of mind. So then down the track, when they are in a situation of really wanting to progress that interaction further, your business is much more likely to be the one that is top of mind than all of the people that they went onto the website and that was the end of that. So talking of follow-up, I now want to look at how many follow-ups do you have to do to get a sale. And what I can tell you is this number is increasing. But the answer, the global answer, and the answer that doesn't change is that it is more than most salespeople think. At the moment, it is taking between 8 and 18 contacts to get a sale. In other words, you need to touch a prospect between 8 and 18 times, depending on the business, the value of sale, and so on, to get to a sale. However, a lot of salespeople give up well before they get to that level. So 42% of salespeople give up after 1 no. Then it goes up to give up after 2 no's, after 3 no's, after 4 no's. And by no, I don't mean absolutely no, I'm not interested. But in essence, what we're saying is, at the moment, that's not something I'm focusing on. That 92% who've given up after 4 no's, what that means is that there are 8% of sales remaining. So 92% of salespeople have given up after 4 no's, and only 8% of salespeople ask for the order that 5th time. 80% of prospects will say no 4 times. So 8% of us are getting the bulk of the business. It's really quite frightening when we think how many of those leads are just being abandoned. This is another example of what that data might look like in Dynamics. And here we're seeing goals. So this is a dashboard where I have set up that I want my sales team to make 50 calls per day. And that chart is showing what the progress towards that target is. The bottom one, again, is by salesperson. The left 2 charts are some further examples. Follow-up also helps us with another 2 of those 5, and that is increasing the number of sales. So once we've worked, so we've got sale number 1 from somebody, we are much more likely to get sale 2, sale 3, if we keep in contact with them. We are also likely to get bigger sales because that relationship has been developed. And just in conversation, you might hear that they are looking for something which is a service or a product that you can provide, but right now that prospect doesn't know about it. So just by saying, yes, we can also do sales consulting, we can also provide you with pink widgets, that has given you a bigger sale. So now we've understood 4 of the 5 ways that we can increase our profit. This slide looks at the 5th way, and this is getting more profit from each individual sale. So what you can see there, and I apologize, it is a little bit small, but as well as seeing the products that we are suggesting to a prospect, I've also configured CRM so that it shows the profit margin. So I've got 2 similar products on that opportunity. and I can see both the price and the profit margin. So I know which of those products is both the most expensive and the most profitable. That is also useful if a salesperson is tempted to start discounting, because as they supply discounts, the profit for that sale will be recalculated, and it discourages people from discounting to a point that the sale is costing you money, not making you money. And that's just another slide that shows a similar piece where we can see all of that data, and another version again. So now that I've gone through the 5 ways that you can increase profit to your business, how many of you feel that with a suitable tool, you could increase some of those by 10%? What I'd like you to do for me is raise your hand if you think you could improve 5 of those by 10%. Only 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I hope by now everybody has either literally or metaphorically raised their hand. So now I want to test your maths. We're now in a situation where we've agreed that we could improve some or all of those factors by 10%. So what is the answer to that sum? And I'd like people to put in the chat what they think the overall increase in profit would be if we increase the number of leads, the conversion rate, the size of sale, the frequency of sale, and the profit from each sale by 10%. And again, I'll give you just 30 seconds to put your suggested answer into the chat.
Okay. We've got here the power of small incremental change.
Yes.
860%, approximately 1,000%, of course, in each 5 areas. 1,100%.
That would be nice.
600%. Unlimited.
Okay. It is limited, unfortunately, and the correct answer is 61. And on the next slide, I'm going to give you the proof. So if we had 100 leads, it would become 110. If we increase the conversion from 30%, it would become 33%. And that means that our customers have gone from 30 to 36.3. And then the size of the purchase and the frequency. So the revenue per lead per period has gone from 60 to 88. And overall, that means that the increase in the profit from new leads per period has gone from $18,000 with the old model to $29,000. And if you want to check my maths, there is
61%.
the proof. So it is well worth putting effort in to some of those 5 areas. Now, what I've talked about so far this morning is only one small area of what CRM is. And I've touched on dynamics. One of the things that I'd really like to highlight is that CRM is a lot more than a database. A true CRM solution will include sales tools, marketing tools, customer service tools, tools that help you manage the interactions, the communications with your customers, and tools that help you see the data, analyze the data, and know what is going on. So I'm now going to look at what is CRM really. There are probably as many definitions of CRM as people that you ask the question. Some people will give you very academic definitions. Other people will give you technical definitions. Others will give you marketing definitions, and yet more will give you sales definitions. All of those are actually correct. What I can assure you is that many people are unaware of the breadth of CRM and therefore how it can best help them. So a definition of CRM that I like is this one. So CRM helps the people who are helping your customers know what they need to know, when they need to know it, to get on better with your clients throughout the lifetime of the association between you and them. So what that should highlight is it is much more about the process and the philosophy. Sure, technology is important, and no successful CRM solutions will exist in 2021 or even a good bit earlier than that without some technology support. But it is a lot more than a database. So what I'm now looking at is successful CRM. So successful CRM delivers benefit to the business. It has a high level of user adoption. So the users really do use it. They don't keep spawning out into Excel. The data is trusted. It's easy for users to use. And finally, it tends towards WORM. And what WORM stands for is write once, read many. So overall in your system, from the point that that prospect first ventures onto your website or comes into your world by whatever way they come into your world, each element of data should only be entered once. And then the system should take that through so that that element of data is available to everybody who needs it when they need it. That sounds simple, but in fact, any successful CRM solution is balanced on a knife edge. And that knife edge is sitting between the technology and what it does and the business. So if you are leading a CRM project, you also are on that knife edge. And just like our friend here, you've probably got both arms extended and you are balancing so you don't fall onto the technology side or onto the total business side. You need to keep yourself well and truly on that knife edge. Well, I'm running out of time. In fact, I've probably overrun, but I hope I have tickled some of the points for you. That slide there is some references, and I hope that that will get put in the chat for you. And anybody who would like to talk to me, I am, of course, very happy to talk to anyone, and my contact details are there. And courtesy of another member of this group, there is also a QR code that will take you to our website. And with that, I will now hand back to Adrian.